football program than others. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think, for me, I think there's been a lot of discussion about staff sizes for 8 years since I've been a head coach. And, I think it's really comes down to who coaches on the field. We have rules in place. Who can actually coach on the field? I really don't care how many staff members there are. I really don't. I think, especially in today's time, I think that there's a lot of really, really quality positions that have been created that are great for the student athlete. They're great for the assistant coaches from a support standpoint, but more importantly for the day-to-day, attention to detail that's required for your players. So, at the end of the day, the rules are who can coach on the field in the weight room, and I think that's what everybody should stick to. And then, at the end of the day, you're never going to run Nike the same as you do mom and pop shoe shop. There's always going to be differences from that standpoint. I mean, when you have a 100,000 seat stadium versus a 30,000 seat stadium, there's just differences that come with that. So, to each his own in that regard. Obviously we've grown our program now in 8 years, but we've always just taken what we had and tried to make the best of it. We haven't always been where we are right now. When I first got some support staff, when I got the job, there was one guy, Andy Johnston. And we've grown a support staff, and we've created an infrastructure, and we've been able to promote from within. When we've had opportunities, we've been able to develop career paths for coaches, administrators, create positions for former players to come back and be a part. I mean, to me, it's been very very good.
How has that transition helped you with somebody like Mickey Kahn, who was with the program, being able to move him right onto the staff?
Again, when I first got some support staffs, I had 5 jobs, and none of them were full. They were all just like, I think it was like 18 or 19,000 and no benefits. But I was like, great. I just wanted to have some extra hands on deck there to help support the coaches in what we were trying to do. They couldn't coach on the field. And then as we've grown our program and trying to compete with other programs, then I was able to get some full-time spots. But that's a perfect example. You have a coach leave, you've got a guy that's been in your program that's learned and developed, and now you get an opportunity to put a guy on the field. So that's been great for us. I think for a lot of people.
How many you got? What's your head count?
Head count? Yeah. Coaches. Yeah, I have 7 guys on our staff. We have our coaches, our coach, and we have 7, non-coach. Yeah. Some people call them quality control. Some people call them analysts. Some people call them player development. We have 7 guys, and they do a phenomenal job. Phenomenal job. And their pay is not the highest, it's not the lowest. We're probably middle of the pack there compared to, those guys do a great job. And,
do you have a sense for how you compare numbers-wise, not pay-wise, but head count-wise with other programs?
No, I don't pay attention to it. I just pay attention to what I think we need within our program, and we haven't always. And again, this is last year's first year I ever had 7. I was at 5 for a long time that weren't full-time positions, and then when Dan Radakovich came on board, he allowed me to make them full-time positions, and so it's from that standpoint, it's been great as far as my experience. And I think again, great. The more hands you got on 120 guys, and the more support you have from a player development standpoint, the better. Now, if you have guys coaching on the field that shouldn't be coaching on the field, then that's against the rules. But the rules are in place for a reason. But I think support has been good for the student athlete.
The redshirt rule that's now being proposed, your thoughts on that and what that would mean for you
I love
guys
it.
going forward?
You're talking about being able to play 4 games?
Right.
Well, I love that for a lot of reasons. You look at last year, you may have guys decide not to play anymore. You might have a guy that's just really not ready to play as a freshman. Cleveland for not quite ready. And, you know, then all of a sudden you get to the halfway point where you don't want to waste his year. But, man, it would have been great to have played him by the end of the season. You're like, oh, cow, this guy's could help us, you know, but you're not going to burn a year for one or two. And, you know, injuries, guys get hurt, and it's a long season. We just played 2 15-game seasons. So, you know, you get to the end of the year, you get some guys banged up and hurt. And a guy that maybe wasn't ready, now he's more prepared. He might come in and get you through a couple of games and be good for his development. I think it would keep the student athlete much more engaged because they know they got a chance to play somewhere during the season, up to 4 games. I don't care if it's just to go cover a kick, 1 rep. You know, just the fact to be able to get in a game and get some experience and not lose a year. I think that would be great for the development of the player, for the engagement of the player, and you know, the whole process that they're going through as a true freshman. And then again, you know, the quarterback at Ole Miss, they come in and play, and there's a whole year for 1 game. I mean, there's a lot of positives. And I think again, just from an overall player welfare standpoint, you know, you have to be able to use more of your guys down the stretch if you needed them would be good. And then sometimes, you know, you play a guy early. But then you realize he's just not really quite ready, you know, and be able to maybe sit him back down would be good as well.
Did you get a sense from